Hey, Chiefs Kingdom! You've probably heard the buzz over the past few weeks. Travis Kelce might be retiring. Yeah, that was the big headline. But hold on, because we've got some major updates that could change everything. First, let's rewind. A few weeks ago, NFL insider Ian Rappaport dropped a bombshell, saying Kelce was actually leaning toward retirement. That sent shockwaves through Chiefs Nation. I mean, Kelce has been the heart and soul of this offense for years. The thought of him walking away? That's something none of us were really prepared for. And it wasn't just Rappaport. Other reports started surfacing, hinting at the same thing. People speculated that maybe his body was wearing down, that maybe after winning multiple Super Bowls, he had nothing left to prove. Some even thought his off-the-field life, like the whole Taylor Swift thing, was pulling him in a different direction. The rumors were everywhere. But then, things took a turn. Diana Rossini, another well-respected NFL insider, came out with a fresh report. According to her, the vibe around Kelce has completely shifted. Instead of being unsure, he's now leaning toward coming back in 2025. That's right. The same guy who was supposedly on the fence is now looking like he's gearing up for another run with the Chiefs. So, what happened? Did Kelce just have a change of heart? Or was this retirement talk more about strategy than reality? We'll get into that soon. But first, I want to hear from you. Did you actually believe Kelce was going to retire? Type yes if you thought he was done, or no if you always knew he'd be back. Drop your answers in the comments. Now, if Kelce really is coming back, what does that mean for the Chiefs? Let's break it down. Alright, so if Kelce is really coming back, what does that mean for the Chiefs? Let's talk about it. First off, even though Kelce isn't quite the player he was in his prime, he's still one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Think about it, last season, he might not have put up insane numbers like before, but he was still a game changer. His route running, his chemistry with Mahomes, his ability to make clutch plays when it matters most, those things don't just disappear overnight. Now, let's be real. At some point, the Chiefs will need to find their next great tight end. But is that guy already on the roster? Noah Gray had a solid season, and there's some excitement around Jared Wiley, the rookie from TCU. But let's be honest, neither of them is Travis Kelce. Not even close. And that's why this decision is so huge. If Kelce retired, the Chiefs would have a massive hole to fill. Without a clear replacement, they'd be scrambling to either make a move in free agency, pull off a trade, or draft someone who, let's face it, probably wouldn't be ready to step into Kelce's shoes right away. So, with Kelce coming back, Mahomes still has his security blanket. The offense keeps its leader. And the Chiefs avoid a major problem, at least for now. But let's hear from you. Do you think Noah Gray can eventually take over as TE1 in Kansas City? Vote in the comments, yes if you believe in him, or no if the Chiefs need to look elsewhere. Now, Kelce's return is great news, but there's one big piece we haven't talked about yet, his contract. And that's where things get really interesting. Stick around, because this might not be as simple as it seems. Okay, so we know Kelce might be coming back, but there's one big thing we need to talk about, his contract. This isn't just a come back and play situation. No, Travis Kelce is one of the biggest stars in the NFL, and his contract has a lot to do with the future of both him and the Chiefs. Here's the deal, Kelce's current contract runs through next season, but it's not exactly the most lucrative. His base salary for 2025 is a modest $4.5 million, nothing near what you'd expect for a player of his caliber. That's right, $4.5 million for one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game? Doesn't add up, does it? Now, here's where things get interesting. The Chiefs have given Kelce a deadline, March 14th. By that date, he'll need to make a decision on whether he's staying or going. Why? Because that's when his roster bonus of $11.5 million kicks in. If Kelce doesn't want to retire, the Chiefs will need to know if he's willing to renegotiate or restructure his deal to make sure he stays in Kansas City for the long haul. It's also worth noting that this deadline falls just after free agency. Starts on March 10th. The Chiefs will need time to figure out their options, whether it's bringing in a new tight end or making moves to bolster other parts of the team. The pressure's on, and Kelce's contract situation is playing a huge role in that. But here's the real question: could Kelce be using the retirement talk as leverage? Some think he's using this to get a better deal. It wouldn't be the first time a player has threatened retirement to boost their value. In fact, there's a pretty famous example of a player doing just that: Kobe Bryant. When he was nearing the end of his career, the Lakers gave him a massive deal, even though he wasn't the same player he was years before. They rewarded him for what he had done for the team, not just for what he could do moving forward. Do you think Kelce deserves a bigger contract for all he's done? Should the Chiefs pay him for his legacy and contributions? Type pay if you think he deserves it, or no pay if you think the Chiefs should. Hold firm. Let me know in the comments. Now, while this contract situation plays out, the Chiefs have to think about how they balance Kelce's return with making moves in other areas. Let's dive into how they could use Kelce without making him the focal point of the offense in the next chapter. Alright, so let's say Travis Kelce is back with the Chiefs in 2025. How should Kansas City utilize him moving forward to get the most out of him without over-relying on him? We all know that Kelce isn't the player he once was. But here's the thing: he doesn't have to be. He doesn't need to be the focal point of the offense anymore. That's not to say he isn't important, though. He's still a top-tier weapon, just not the centerpiece of the Chiefs' attack. Look, the reality is that Patrick Mahomes now has a better supporting cast than ever before. Rashee Rice, the rookie sensation, is coming into his own, and then there's Xavier Worthy, who just earned the title of Rookie of the Year. These guys, along with any new receivers the Chiefs might bring in through the draft or free agency, will help take the pressure off Kelce. The Chiefs are going to need to diversify their offense. And Kelce's role is likely to evolve. He'll still be a key target, but he won't be the only target. If he stays healthy, Kelce can still make big plays, but the Chiefs need to make sure they don't wear him down by asking him to do too much. So, the question is, what does that mean for the future of this offense? Well, it could be a good idea for Kansas City to bring in another top-tier wide receiver to complement Mahomes and the rest of the team. Whether through a trade or the draft, adding another weapon would help spread the ball around and keep defenses guessing. And hey, that could be exactly what the Chiefs need to keep competing for championships. If they can balance Kelce's contributions with an improved supporting cast, they'll be even more dangerous in 2025. Now, I want to hear from you. Who do you think should be Mahomes' #1 target in 2025? Comment the name of the player you think should step up as the top guy. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Alright, now that we've talked about how the Chiefs could use Kelce next season, let's dive into the last chapter. Does Kelce still have something to prove, or is he just playing out the string? Let's explore that next. As we wrap up this discussion about Travis Kelce's future with the Chiefs, there's one last thing we need to consider. Does he still have something to prove? Look, we know Kelce has already cemented his legacy as one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. He's won 3 Super Bowls, made 10 Pro Bowls, and earned countless accolades. But despite all of that, I truly believe Kelce still has a fire inside him, a desire to prove that he's not done yet. Even though his numbers took a dip in 2024, his fewest touchdowns and lowest receiving yards since 2013, Kelce still showed he's among the best in the league. Over 800 yards and 97 catches in a season isn't something to sneeze at. Sure, he's not the same guy he was in 2022 or 2021, but he's still a reliable option in the Chiefs' offense. And here's something that's often overlooked: Kelce might feel like he has unfinished business. Coming off a season where the Chiefs fell short of winning it all, Kelce could be motivated to return with a chip on his shoulder. He has always been a competitor, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's driven to prove to himself, and maybe even to others, that he can still be a difference maker on a championship team. So, do you think Kelce can have another big season in 2025? After all he's accomplished, can he keep going and contribute to another Super Bowl run? Type B for believe if you think he's got more in the tank, or D for don't if you think it's time to move on. And that's a wrap on this topic. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive into Travis Kelce's future. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates on all things Kansas City Chiefs, and I'll catch you in the next video.